Tell Me More podcast is being recorded on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. We pay our respects to elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures. Welcome to Tell Me More, where we have conversations about the good, the bad and the real. I'm your host, Olivia Molly Rogers. We are back and I am so happy to be back. It feels like it's been such a long time and I've missed this. I've missed you guys, Dan and Steph. We've got our beautiful producers here. How are you?
Good. So happy to be back. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Months.
Literally, I think at least 6 months.
6 months?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I think so. Yeah. It's April.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I'm really excited because I feel like, last season was great. I loved it, but we've learnt a lot. We've reflected and we've made some new goals and new plans for the potty this season. And I feel like it's going to be a really good one. We've got some great guests lined up. And I also feel like I'm just in a place where I'm ready to be really honest and open. Like I feel like I already was, but I'm even more so.
That's exciting. Got something to tell us?
I don't know, probably. I think there's a lot. We have lots to catch up on. Like
so much.
When I think back over the last 6 months, there's just so much that has happened. Like I don't even know where to start. So I'm going to leave you with that.
Well, over the break, we hit 1 million downloads, by the way.
That
which
was
is
very
crazy.
exciting. Steph's giving us snaps.
Yeah, snaps. Yeah, which is awesome. That happened over the break. So
yeah, that was very
exciting.
exciting, very surreal moment. And thank you to everyone who has listened and downloaded and made that happen.
And you've been away.
Oh no, I went to Europe before we wrapped up. I went recently to Bali, which was great, with Hugo. Hugo moved in. That was last year. But I haven't updated anyone on that on the potty. So that's been really lovely.
How's he going?
He's good. It's great. I feel like
in your place,
when people ask, they're always like, how's it going? Like, I think they want something juicy or some sign that things aren't as easy as they seem. I don't know, but it has been really easy and fun. My only issue is that he has kettlebells all over the place. Like there's like when you walk into the bedroom, he's got this little step that has kettlebells set up on it. It's like a kettlebell shrine. It's not really my aesthetic, but
for training, like working out.
Yeah, he loves kettlebells.
Not just like a weight, a paperweight.
No, he uses them, but they're so heavy that I can't move them. So if I'm filming something and they're in the way, I just have to leave them there because they are the heaviest weights ever. But yeah, he really loves kettlebells. Like he reads books on kettlebells sometimes.
Is that one of your books of the week?
No, it wouldn't be my recommendation. I have no interest in reading those books. Not to say I'm not interested in working out and like I appreciate his love of it. He can tell me about it. I don't need to read those books. But I do. I love that he reads. We read our Kindles a lot together and that was one of my favorite things in Bali was just chilling and reading and having a partner who loves doing the same things as you is really nice.
Yeah, it looked amazing. You got to stay in some cool spots.
Yeah, we were very lucky. That first place, we were the only guests because they've only been open for a week. So we had like 15 staff members to the two of us. And they are just the sweetest people on earth. And I landed on my birthday and so they sang to me. They made me a cake. Happy birthday, Olivia was just written everywhere. They did it in petals. They did it in any material they could. It was so amazing. So now I just think every birthday I have to fly to Bali.
It sounds like a movie. It kind of sounds a little bit like a horror movie though. So I said to you when you first came back, I was like, that sounds like the plot for a horror movie.
It sounds like something
ones in a
bad
resort.
could happen, but nothing bad happened. It was beautiful. Very lucky.
So much time has passed and so much has happened. So I thought it would be good to do oranges and lemons of that whole period. Our last 6 months, what has been your oranges and lemons?
Oof, that is such a good question. There's been lots of individual oranges and lots of individual lemons, but if I had to pick two major ones, should I start with the lemon? Yeah, let's start with the negative. I feel like towards the end of last season, I probably mentioned that my family and I were going through a hard time. We went to Noosa for my mum's 60th and while we were there, the first day we were there, my cousin Francesca, who is one of the most beautiful, funny, charismatic, amazing people I know, she had a seizure, and she's never had a seizure before. I wasn't there to see it, which, was apparently, I'm sure it would have been very traumatic for everyone that was there. She was out, like at a bar in Noosa, and had this seizure, got rushed to hospital. And so we were all very worried. And then we got the news that I think is the worst news that you can hear when something like that happens, which was they did a scan and they found a mass on her brain. So that was October. And then there was a lot of preparation into the next phases of, the next steps of figuring out what to do with that. And she had surgery in November to remove what was quite a significant tumour. And then that went off for testing, and waiting for the results for that was awful. It took 4 weeks, which felt like the longest 4 weeks ever. And she's been so strong and amazing. And then the results came back in December, early December, and we found out that it is brain cancer. So it's called an astrocytoma, grade 3, IDH mutant. For the people who, I don't know, want to know specifics, I suppose. And Francesca, I, talk a lot to Chess most days. And she's very comfortable with me sharing the details of that. She's been sharing a bit on TikTok, which is very brave and inspiring. But yeah, that has just completely rocked all of us. I found November and December really challenging because of that. There was a period I was just crying every day because it's going to make me emotional. It's just one of those things you don't think is going to happen to someone that you love, and you hear about it so much. But yeah, to actually happen to someone that's really close to you, and Chess is, like I said, just one of the most beautiful, kind, amazing people. And she's only 29, so it's a lot. But yeah, she's been incredible, so brave, so positive. Not that she has to be. I think that's been one of the biggest lessons too, is like there's so much toxic positivity and all these people that say, oh, she's so positive, she'll be fine. It's like, we don't know if she'll be fine. She's going to push through, and she's been so brave. She's taking, all of the doctor's advice and doing what they say, and she's finished her radiation. She's frozen her eggs, and she started her chemo. And yeah, she's got a long road ahead. So that's been a really big lemon.
That's a really sucky lemon.
Yeah.
You've been sharing it, and her journey a little bit on social. And what I noticed the most is how incredibly funny and
she's so
inspirationally
funny.
Positive she is, and not in a toxic way, in an amazing way to deal with what is probably the hardest thing people would ever go through.
Oh, her sense of humor is one of the best things about Chess, and there are so many good things about Chess, but she's so fucking funny. She actually gave Hugo and I a tour of their house when we were back in Adelaide in, I think it was Jan. And because Hugo hadn't been there before, and she's taking us around, and she's like, so this is mum and dad's room. Obviously, usually mum and dad sleep here, but dad's been kicked out because I have a brain tumor. She's got this dark humor about it that you can't help but laugh. And I feel like she makes other people comfortable. And that is, I think, also just shows how amazing she is, that she's always wanting other people to feel comfortable because she knows that people struggle with this kind of news and what to do with it. Yeah, that's been really challenging, and it's hard, I think, to know what to do as a loved one other than contact them, but also you don't want to be too annoying. And I try to make it really clear to her, whenever I message, I just want her to know that I'm thinking of her, and I never expect a reply because she said to me, she's like, I don't know how you do it. I feel like an influencer. I've just got all these messages to respond to, and it's so overwhelming. So yeah, I never want her to feel like she has to do that, because that's just another burden on top of everything else that she's dealing with. But I was brainstorming and trying to think of ways that I can help. And I had some amazing people share things online with me of things that have helped their loved ones when they're going through treatment. But then this amazing opportunity popped up with Carrie Bickmore, who's got her Beanies for Brain Cancer, her charity that she started when she lost her husband to brain cancer. And she started the foundation 10 years ago. And because it's the 10th anniversary this year, she wants to do something really big to celebrate that. So she called me and asked me to, I don't know Carrie, by the way, so she called me out of the blue and she's like, "Hi, Olivia, it's Carrie Bickmore." It's not a call I ever thought I would get. It was all quite surreal. And she said, "Would you be interested in doing a marathon in South Africa for brain cancer?" And she said, "I'll let you think about it." And I said, "I don't need to think about it." Of course. She was across Francesca and what's happening with her. And so she knew my connection, and she also knows that I love running. So it was a no-brainer to say yes. Little did I know, though, that this marathon is so crazy. It's in South Africa, but I pictured beautiful Cape Town or something. It's through a safari game park. It's called the Big Five Marathon. So we will literally see the big five animals. I'm hoping we won't actually see a lion while we're running, because that would be terrifying. It's dirt roads. There's massive elevation. It is literally going to be the hardest thing I've ever done.
So I have so many questions.
Yeah.
How, on a safari park, it's all open. The whole point of safari parks are that the animals just roam free. Mm-hmm. So how do you run a marathon through when there's lions and
tigers and bears? No, there's not actually. I don't think there's tigers and bears.
No tigers. No bears.
Elephants?
Yeah. What are the five? It's lions,
lions, leopards, rhinos, elephants, and African buffalo. It's interesting that giraffe isn't included because they're very big, but apparently they're not big enough.
But they're not game animals. I don't think people should.
Oh, is that what it is?
I don't think people go out to hunt them, because I think they just roam so obviously everywhere.
Well, so I'm hoping they'll be there because I love giraffes.
You'll probably see them. But I just don't think people shoot, because it's about the game side of things, which
that's a bit yucky.
Yeah, but those are the big ones.
So what they do is monitor the game. There's armed guides with apparently massive guns, but we don't want them to shoot the animals. So they monitor them and make sure that they're not close to the track. I think somehow try to guide them away. But the marathon's meant to start at 9 o'clock in the morning, but it's depending on where the game are. So that gives me some reassurance. But yeah, I am scared of that factor. But yeah, I think this, like I said, it's going to be the hardest thing I've ever done, but it is nothing in comparison to what my cousin is going through and what people go through when they get that brain cancer diagnosis. So I'm hoping we can raise as much money as possible and awareness. And yeah, there's so much that still needs to be done in brain cancer research. And I would love to help find a cure. So yeah, that is my lemon that's turned into some sort of lemonade, I suppose. And the orange?
Yeah, what's your orange?
My orange is, I think, again, a lemon turned into an orange. I have been doing going to therapy for a really long time. The therapist I'm seeing now, I started seeing him in July 2022. I actually left my previous therapist because I got the feeling she didn't like my ex-husband. So I was like, this doesn't feel, I don't know, neutral. So I felt like I should go to someone else. In hindsight, my ex-therapist was onto something. But I started seeing my current therapist, and he's great. He helped me through that really challenging time, and I have seen him very consistently since then. For a period, I was seeing him every week, and sometimes now I do still see him weekly, but sometimes it's monthly, sometimes it's fortnightly. But this year in Jan, we started a type of therapy called EMDR, and it's been crazy. It's been so helpful. Like, I think that I have seen more progress in myself from that therapy, and we've only done 4 sessions, than I have in the last 2 years.
What is it? I do therapy, but like just sitting and talking.
Yeah. So talking therapy is, I think, one of the most common types of therapy, and that's all I've ever done. I haven't had any other, I haven't had CBT or any other techniques trialed on me or with me. I don't know how you word that, but EMDR he suggested last year, and my homework was to go away and think of 10 traumatic memories. That was fun. And then 10 nice memories. And what you do, I don't want to butcher this. I'm obviously not an expert, so I recommend that you also look it up. But EMDR, as I understand it, it's like REM sleep. So REM sleep stands for rapid eye movement. When you're asleep, your eyes move rapidly, and that's when your brain is processing your memories. In EMDR therapy, your therapist guides you through your memories. And for me, I think there's different techniques, but he holds up his fingers, 2 fingers, and I look at his fingers and he moves them side to side, and we work through a traumatic memory. So we've been targeting one specific memory, and at the beginning of the session, I close my eyes, think about what that is. And the first time it was awful. Really, like, I felt like I was right in that memory. You do a lot of prep before this so that you feel very safe in that, and you know you can stop at any time, and that's a big part of it. But so you're sitting in it. I was, tears streaming down my face. My heart rate was super high. My hands were shaking. And he asked me to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10 of how significant the emotions were and how much I felt like I was in it. And it was 10 out of 10. And then I opened my eyes and we processed. So he moves from side to side, my eyes follow. And the best way I can explain the feeling of it is like you're on a train and you're looking out the windows, and outside the windows are memories, and they pop up. And you have to stay on the train, like you're moving through these memories, that they're like flashes. It is the weirdest experience, because I could be thinking, like, you're only thinking of that one memory before that, and then it just flicks through these memories, things I haven't thought of for like 20 years. And then he'll pause and he'll say, how are you feeling? What did you notice? And then we go again. The first session went for like an hour and 20 minutes. The ones after that have been shorter. And at the end of each session, he gets me to rate the emotion. And at the beginning, I went from a 10 to like a 6. I think the next session was from a 7 to a 4. Third session was 5 to a 2. And then my last one, again, we finished on like a 1 or a 2. It is crazy. Like, now I feel like I can't actually get in the memory. I'm like watching it.
So when you think of the first initial memory and then you do the EMDR,
the processing,
is the memories that are coming up related to that, or they're just randomized based on, like, is it you then seeing moments from that maybe you didn't even access the
similar
first time?
So they you're meant to sort of map your memories out, because most of the traumatic memories, when I went through the list, most of them are related to specific emotions. And one of them that is really common for a lot of patients, my psych said, is the feeling of I'm not enough or I'm not worthy. So what you can notice is when you look at these memories, it's like, oh, they all trigger that same emotion. So by working on one memory, it's supposed to then generalize so you feel differently. That emotion is not as significant when similar things happen. It's amazing. But yeah, the memories are other memories that have made me feel that way a lot of the time, but also just like really random childhood memories. And yeah, it's one of the most interesting things I've experienced.
It's crazy because I was just looking it up, and it's like a, World Health Organization, National Institute of Health and Care Excellence, evidence-based, like utilized for PTSD and other things like that.
Yeah.
But it seems so like witchy
it sounds
a little
like,
bit. It's
like
weird.
woo-woo
It's
or
yeah, a
like
bit woo-woo,
hypnotherapy kind of, and like you've got to believe in it for it to work. That's not true. Like I do think you have to be very open to it, and you need to feel very safe with your therapist. So I think the fact that I've been working with him for a couple of years already, we've built up a really good rapport and I really trust him. So there's that. But I do think there are studies that show amazing success with it. And I am feeling it. Like not just in those sessions when I have to rate the emotions. Like I think day to day for the last 2 months, I've been the happiest and most calm I've ever felt in my whole life.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's crazy. So I always preach therapy, but even more so now I'm like, because I also think like people think, oh, maybe I'm not sick enough for that. And like, so you might just experience, I don't want to say just experience, you might experience, say, generalized anxiety, but it's not super severe. And you think that maybe it's only people who have really severe PTSD that need that kind of therapy. But I don't agree with that because I think it's crazy what you can unravel, like the things that we've squashed down and feelings that trigger those old emotions. I just think I would recommend it honestly to like anyone who has any kind of anxiety and childhood trauma, which I think most people do. Well, that's a big statement, but a lot of people do.
That's a good orange.
Thank you.
We also got the chance to go to Fashion Festival this year
together.
That
was
and
so
with
fun.
all three of us in the room, Steph, and we went and interviewed people before the shows and after the shows.
Yes.
That was awesome. That was fun.
I loved that. So this was off the back of I got to speak at an event for It Cosmetics about confidence. And confidence is something that I get asked about a lot online. And it's funny because I reckon I would answer questions about it probably 5 years ago and I was not confident at all. Like I'd get asked it and then I'd Google what are some tips to be confident and then like share some answers because I'm like, I was struggling with it. I couldn't find the answers in myself because I wasn't confident. Whereas now I think with all this therapy and so many other things, but coming to a point where I feel really content in myself, I feel so much more confident. But I find it really interesting when you ask people what makes them feel confident, because a lot of the time I think we expect that it'll be like a good blow wave or like when I've got my makeup done really well or when I'm wearing a really nice top, I don't know, like something shallow. But when we went to Fashion Festival, pretty much everyone, when we asked the question, what do you do to boost your confidence when you're not feeling your best? I don't think any of them spoke about something to do with their looks. It was 9 times out of 10, it was much deeper than that. And yeah, I want to play some of our favorites.
How do you boost your confidence?
I just love going for a walk. Like I love taking my little boy Louie out for a walk. Just go around the park. If he falls asleep, we'll just lie out in the park together and it's beautiful.
I was having a moment today where I wasn't feeling so good and then I just hung out with my sister for a little bit. It makes me feel better.
Just look at my daughter and think I don't want you to change anything about yourself, so therefore I shouldn't change anything about myself.
Honestly, this might sound really lame, but I listen to music and I dance in the mirror. It just relieves all my negative energy. It's so much fun. You should actually try it.
I do that myself and it's not lame. I think it's great.
I just think it's important if you don't feel confident to step back, take a look at the bigger picture and feel more at home in your environment. If we can get stuck in the details, someone doesn't like me, this isn't working, but if you step back and find your confidence, you can do whatever.
I feel like the more I challenge myself, the more I start to feel comfortable in things that I previously was not comfortable doing.
Potentially maybe some meditation. Taking some time out, I think for me, is the best.
I'm going to say it's my mum. I'm here with my mum tonight. Surrounding yourself with people that you know you can trust and kind of talk to about anything and that won't change their opinion on you is really important.
That is such a beautiful, wholesome answer. Thank you, my love.
Thank you. Love you.
Amazing.
I love that one.
I love it.
Steph has a good question after hearing all those.
I want to know, Olivia, what makes you feel confident?
It's so nice to have your voice on here, Steph. That might be the first time. What makes me confident? I think previously, before I genuinely felt confident, I would have answered something like, a great outfit or when my hair's done well. And that's not to say like I think those things can help confidence for sure. Like I walk out at the salon with a fresh blow wave, like flicking my hair, like loving myself. I think that makes me feel really good. But I think day to day, it's so much more than that. And you can have the ability to feel confident, makeup free, hair not done, wearing, trackies and a daggy jumper, because it's more about actually being aligned with who you are. So what makes me feel confident is when I go to bed at night knowing that that day I've been exactly who I want to be. And for me, that's being kind to strangers, being honest, being open, being vulnerable, and really just being true to myself. I think I don't feel confident when I feel unsettled and I don't feel like I'm being me. So if I'm wearing an outfit that is not me, or if someone's done my makeup that makes me look really different, that makes me feel weird. And I think that's what I've realized is that I need to be doing the things that really align with me, and that's what makes me feel most confident.
Love that.
Thanks. I love it.
I love it. We have a new segment that we want to bring to some of these, and maybe even some of their guest episodes. It's to watch, to read, to listen. And it's our favorites or something recent that you've liked to watch, to read, or to listen to. Yeah. So I'm throwing it at you. What are your watch, read, and listen recommendations?
My recommendations, I'll start with to watch. Hugo and I binged Adolescence. Everyone's talking about it, and I think for good reason. You said you haven't watched it yet.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm always a little slower.
I feel like you don't like jumping on trends, just be different.
Yeah. I'll decide if it's cool. I've heard mixed things. I mean, I've heard it's very intense, and obviously everyone's talking about the one shot, and the whole thing's done in one take. If people don't know, it's all shot in one take from start to finish of each episode, which is insane to me.
It's crazy.
Like I have studied film and come from a film and television background, and to do that is just I just say, why would you do that to yourself?
Stress.
Like it's so hard. But it looks like very cool from that point of view. But that also makes me think like, is that what's cool about it? So I'm like, I don't know. Is there anything in the show?
That factor. So yeah, being shot in it's one take per episode, and there are 4 episodes. So it's quite a short series. That aspect, like I felt like I couldn't look away. It's like you're watching a play, and I think that's why they used a lot of actors who have theatre experience, because they have to learn all of their lines and their places, and they move like clockwork. It's crazy. And also improvise. Like if there's a mistake, they have to roll with it. Otherwise, they've got to start the entire thing all over again. I thought that was amazing, and it does make it really gripping. Like you don't want to look away because you feel like you're watching it all in real time. But the actual content, I think, is so important. It talks about toxic masculinity, and I think everyone should watch it because I just think it sparks really good conversations. It's not your typical it's a crime, but it's not a whodunit or like a cookie cutter where at the end the bad guy's locked up and like that's that. There's a lot of ambiguity, so you have to fill in the blanks, which I think sparks really good conversations. And they mention Andrew Tate and his really negative impact on young boys and the way that they think about women. And I just think that is such an important conversation to have. And I do think a lot of people will watch it and think about their parenting style because of it, which I think is really important. And also like teachers and anyone who's spending time with young people, I think should watch it.
All right.
You've got a little boy, so.
Yeah. No, I should watch it.
You should watch it.
Okay. Is that, do you have another one? Or is that?
Wait, so that's my to watch?
That's your watch, yeah. What's your to read?
To read, I read this in a day. It is called None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. And now I'm on my 3rd Lisa Jewell book because this one was so good. But so far I'm yet to find one as good as that. I could not put it down. It's a crime novel, and it's just so gripping, and apparently it's being made into a TV series or a movie. I'm not sure which, but one or the other, and I can't wait for that. So I highly recommend reading it because I love reading something too before it comes out as a TV series or something. Yeah, that's a ripper.
Okay. And to listen?
To my monster. Did you hear that? Holy shit. And also it sounds like you farted. But.
Yeah. Swear, we need to get better chairs in.
To listen, I recommend listening to Tame Your Inner Critic by Claire Bowditch. Sorry.
Tame yours.
My inner critic is a monster. Tame Your Inner Critic, I loved, I think, off the back of talking about confidence. It is so helpful. It's an Audible special, and she gives you activities to go and, write down like after each sort of chapter. And I just think it's so important because I think a lot of us aren't actually aware of the way that we talk to ourselves or conscious of your inner critic and how loud it can be and how much that can affect your confidence day to day. So yeah, I really recommend that book. Well, listening to that.
Awesome. It was not me.
So yeah, add that to your list. And I think we should wrap up as we did every episode last season with oranges and lemons, but in the present, oranges and lemons.
What do you got?
Do you want to go first?
I can go first. I have a, actually it aligns, my lemon aligns. I like doing shallow lemons because life's short. I have just finished, and so has Steph, because we've been speaking about it every week. We've just finished Severance season 2, which and so that's probably, if you haven't watched it, that's my to watch. Incredible show. And it's just finished. So I feel like my lemon is, I finished that, and I was very slow to the party on Ted Lasso. I finished both of those within the same week, so I'm feeling empty inside. I've lost a piece of my soul.
That is a very relatable feeling, I think, ending a show. And there's so much out there that you can watch, but when you're really attached to a show, it's like, what do I do with myself now?
And last time, I was late to Severance, so I watched season 1 and 2 back to back. So I was lucky. Well, not quite. I had to wait for the eps each week of season 2, but I got to watch season 1 straight into season 2, whereas the real fans over here, like Steph, watched season 1 and then had to wait, 3 years or something, I think it was, before the season 2 came out. So that also hurts because the end of season 2 was insane and leaves you.
Oh, so there's going to be a season 3.
Yeah. They've already announced that they're going to make it. And I think they've already said that's going to be a lot quicker than the time difference between 1 and 2, but it was an amazing show and an amazing way to finish. And one of the most unique shows I've ever seen. I just think the way that was done. I think it's the most, the highest budget Apple TV show that they have. But it's so simple, and like the concept is very interesting, and there's a lot of amazing themes in it. So I highly recommend it. But that's my lemon, is that I finished that and Ted Lasso.
Okay, you've sold it to me though. I'm going to watch it. What's your orange?
My orange is that I had a late finish at work last night, and I was driving home and I was like, I need to eat something. I can't be bothered cooking. And I was just going to pick something up on the way. And then I said, no, I'm going to go out and celebrate on my own. And I don't do that very often. Some people do that a lot. I know people that do that a lot, but I don't. And it's a little bit uncomfortable when you go into a place. And I went into like a nice restaurant that just opened up across the road from my house. And I sat in there and had a couple of wines and ate on my own. And I don't know, it's just like it felt weird and different, and I probably wouldn't have done it normally and just go, I'll just do something at home. But that was my orange, to
I love that.
Do something out of your comfort zone.
So will you do it again?
Yeah, I think so. It's not something I've done it if I'm traveling or something alone, but not really in your own town or in your own home, because you always got people to go out and do stuff with. But I just decided to do it on my own. So
that's nice. I like that. That's a really good
an
orange. Thanks for sharing. My lemon is that I showed you guys, but I'm not going to show everyone
for free.
My feet for free. I've got
behind a paywall.
I've got a blister on my foot from the marathon training that I'm doing. People do say like a lot of the reason people train for a marathon is so that they can tell everyone that they're training for a marathon. So sorry, it's going to be mentioned a lot in the next 10 weeks. Yeah, it's like this big. It's for the people who are listening, not watching. What's that? Like 1.5 inches. It's significant. And I got that on Saturday and it's now Thursday. And the problem is I have to keep running. So I ran 20 kilometers last weekend. This weekend I have to run 22. And I've already got this blister, so I know that it's going to really hurt. But anyway, I just have to always keep my cousin in mind, and that will help me push through the pain. But it is a lemon. My orange is that I can finally talk about this, that being the marathon and the fundraising that I'm doing, because by the time this episode drops, it will have been announced, and I've known about it for 6 weeks, and I love to yap. So the fact that I have kept it secret for that long is quite amazing, and it's been hard. So I'm really excited that I can actually talk about it, and I've got some really exciting fundraising plans coming up, and yeah, that's a big orange.
How fast do you run? Do you track your speed?
I do, but for this, because it is like, I'll share some photos. Maybe we can put them on the Tell Me More page. Photos of some of the peaks that I have to run up. I'm not going to be thinking about my time. Like my average time usually for like a longer run is like 5 minutes 20 when I'm training. I think last year when I did a half, I did it in 1 hour and 43 minutes, and I was trying to be fast. Whereas this one, they cut off the marathon at 7 hours, which Sam, who is one of the amazing people behind the Brain Cancer Centre, who's helping organise this, he said that if the cutoff time is 7 hours, it means that there would be people that are taking between 5 and 7 hours to complete this marathon. So I think there might be a bit of walking.
How fast do you go normally? Like kilometers per hour, do you know?
Are you looking up how fast I have to run away from a lion?
Yeah, leopards.
How did I know?
Yeah, 58 kilometers that a leopard runs.
Yeah, look, I think my fastest time that I can get to if I'm sprinting for like 30 seconds is maybe 19 kilometers an hour. But I couldn't do that for longer than 30 seconds. So I will be eaten if that's the case.
Apparently lions can run 80 kilometers an hour. Jeez.
Someone asked me if they have cheetahs in the game park as well, because they said you've got to outrun a cheetah, but you've already done that.
Nice.
Yeah, it was very funny.
I don't have a drum snare that I can hit on this.
Oh, you can insert it.
Yeah.
And on that note, we will leave it there, and next week we will be dropping an amazing guest into the listeners' ears, and yeah, I can't wait. I'm feeling really good about this season.
We have some really exciting things coming to, some new merch that we might be dropping soon.
Yes.
A few things that are on their way, some samples on our way. We're going to share some stuff soon on social, so keep your eye out.
Yeah, lots to come. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Dad.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for listening to Tell Me More. If you enjoyed the episode, please leave us a review, share it with your friends, and follow or subscribe to the podcast. Your help in growing this community would mean so much to me.